Hello everybody, my name's Talscar and today is a brand new day. It's also nighttime for me, and I'm making this video to tell people about something that happened that was awesome today, but I'm also, as a reward for you guys, I'm going to give you a few tips and some tricks in Terraria that might help some of you. Well, most of you should already know the tips and the tricks I might give you. Well, anyway, today in class for my IT course, I did something that I haven't done ever in any of my courses, and I haven't impressed the teacher like I did today. Basically, what I did was I went in the class. We almost didn't finish assessment tool, which the assessment tool is an item that is how the assessment is marked and graded. It's used to identify what areas you need to learn and what areas you need to complete. Now, the assessment tool that I did today was almost not completed, and the reason for it being almost not completed is because the teacher didn't really notice everything that he was meant to notice. And so what happened was he picked up the book and he said, "Well, now we're finished. You can go on to the next task or whatever." Or maybe no, it wasn't exactly how it went. Or something like that anyway. He basically told us to go on to the next assessment or whatever. So we go off to do something else, but I personally knew that I wasn't finished, so I kept going and I read the book to the very bottom, whereas not everyone looked at the very bottom of the book. When I looked at the very bottom of the book, I saw this thing that had to be done to do with a checklist. Now, the checklist that we had to do was based around occupational health and safety. Now, when I was doing my research on where these items were located, because I really wanted to complete this, because what I'm doing on YouTube, what I'm doing now, has actually given me a little bit of ability to better myself in school, which is actually really good because now I feel like I've got a bit of inspiration. In fact, a few things have happened which are pretty cool, and it makes me a bit happy. Although not everything is as awesome as it sounds. But anyway, what I did was I made up this checklist. So once I made up the checklist, I read what was the next instructions, and it said to make a reference to this file, as well as a reference to the policies and procedures, as well as occupational health and safety. Well, that stuff, the occupational health and safety policies and procedures. So basically what happened was, I went looking, and I couldn't find them. So I went to the teacher, I asked him if he knew where they would be, and he asked me why do I have to do this? Where is this located? And I told him it's in the assessment tool we just did. So basically he says, "Come sit with me, we'll try to work things out." So I drag my chair over to his desk, we go through what we have to do, he writes some little notes. I told him what I was working on already. So what he does is he gets a Word document out, and he starts typing some things up on the questions 1 to 3 using I, and I. And because of one of the things that weren't located, the policies and procedures, he went looking for them. And he knew that he couldn't find the right one, so basically what he wrote was that these are in the front office with the receptionist in paper copy. So what I did was, in my document, I made it look all fancy. I underlined everything that was a point towards what you're reading. Basically, the idea behind what I'm talking about. Basically, I'm pointing out the most obvious things that someone should be able to pick out and straight away connect with something like, for example, a risk. So this question's about a risk. It should be able to tell you that you know it's going to be about a risk. You should be able to think about some risks while you're reading, or even before you start reading. So when the word risk comes into mind, you start thinking about it and you work on it already. Now, what I did with my book is I made it look so good. It wasn't actually really good. It was just a document. It wasn't really a book. So basically I'm making a mistake saying it's a book. Basically, the teacher, after I finished it, I wrote one line down, well, actually it's a double line, and what this line basically said was that the item, the policies and procedures, is not available in electronic copies. So anyone who's going to read my Word document that I did in class today, what's going to happen is the person who reads it to assess it and mark it and grade it, and the people that are basically called auditors, if they come across it and have to double check that, oh, this has been done, they'll see that, oh, there are no electronic copies, so we'll have to let this slide, or we'll have to look for it ourselves, rather than them be looking at it and be like, well, we don't see your evidence to say there where the copies of it is. That's because they'll probably not notice that it's already written down as number 3. So I put this at the very bottom. It was like professionally written. I mean, I was impressed with it myself. That's how well written it was. But it still is not perfect. Now, as you might see, my screen is frozen. The noise is still going. I'm just going to go to the last line I wrote for this book, and you can't see it, that's fine. Official electronic copies of OH&S policies or procedures are unavailable for reference and may need following up with from the prior information given, which will accompany the results for the DDITC 204 Assessment Tool Exercise 3. That, to me, seems very professional, the way it was written, the way it was said. And what was going through my head most of the time was getting this out of the way and doing a good job of it at least. So I had a bit of a goal set up. Not a perfect goal, but nonetheless it was a goal. And I think it turned out in the end really, really well. So I'm happy with that, and I'm impressed with what I did. The teacher, after I finished writing what I had written, he came up to me and he basically said, I'm using that next year to share with the class. And so that made me feel good because of how really well presented my work piece was. And so I felt really good about that. It was like, it's the first thing that you've ever succeeded in actually doing right in your life. That's one way you could put it. Now, in relation to other good things, successful things in my book, and the only reason it's a good thing in my book, what I've got to say now, is because I don't barely have this ever often happen. In fact, it never really happens at all. So, to me, it's a very good thing to have happen. Last night I had a dream, and this dream I actually do remember, not perfectly, but I do remember it. And even though it wasn't a really awesome dream like some people would hope, it was a dream, and I was impressed with what I had in my dream. But it was a bit weird. The best way to put it was, I'm a fully grown adult, basically, and I want to go back to kindergarten to try something out to see if I can make some friends in an interesting way. So, I go, I somehow lose my age and I turn into a young person, and I go back to kindergarten to make friends and whatnot, but I also ended up being like a bit of a spy, I'd say. So that was a interesting dream. It's not valid housing. So I'll just stick with what I've had to say so far. I am happy that that even happened. Dreams like I had don't really come along rarely. It does bother me that, hey, I want a dream, but I don't get dreams or anything, so it's really kind of upsetting and sad. So, that's all I really got to say about my successes and something that I've had happen recently. Now, for a bit of a reward for you guys on tips and tricks, is you know about this one, everyone knows about it. You use the question mark to check that your housing is suitable. This one is not because it's too small. These ones are suitable, and I'm just thinking of what to put in this room here. Now, this is all basically shops. That's Clover, that's the merchant. What would be next to the merchant and the Clover? I'm going to put in the painter. So this is their house. Okay, for tips and tricks, just so you guys actually have an idea of what you can do for tips and tricks, is if you didn't already know, I know that a lot of you guys go mining and whatnot, and you're wondering, where the hell do you store your stuff? You go for your inventory, it's all of a sudden very, very full, you have no space, you can't place anything. And the people that I know, what they do is they tend to only use these slots here for their storage. So what you can do is, if you have a full inventory, is go through the items you want to keep, and you put them in these slots here. Now you can right click them to change their position here, but you can't right click them over to where you would want them to go. So you have to put them in there manually. So that's one tip and trick I can give you. Another one, which I learnt today, was kind of interesting. I'm gonna shut this door, I'm gonna shut this door. Now, as you can see, I'm on a bunny rabbit. Now, if I try to go through this door, it doesn't let me. I'm gonna open this door, I'm gonna open this door now, bang. That's the furthest he'll go, he won't go any further. So, I figured out today that these doors, these gates, are based for the pets to get in and out of the house, basically. And I found that really, really cool and neat, because, hey, I want to get in and out of a house, I want to run a flat surface. Now, that would be perfect to have, like, if you think about it, you make a castle, you don't really want this to not be open and closable. So, you really want to be able to go through with your pet. So, I'm going to change this environment just a little bit. Now I can just run through, and voila. But if you look at this, there's one problem right here, and that's if I stand here, I can drop down, and if I run across, and I want to avoid going up those stairs, and I hold down, it doesn't really work. Well, I know that with the bunny rabbit, if I'm going at full speed and I hold down, he should be able to make that jump. Now, his full speed is about 39 kilometers. There you go, that worked. So if you're going at maximum speed and you're pressing the down arrow, it will work. Now this is good to replace with those big gates, for the reason that with the big gates, you can get around a lot easier. Now, I'm changing my doors to gates on the bottom layer, because if I want to run across the world, well, I've got a way to do it. Because of all my mess that I have here, is that I'm actually putting all my junk and whatnot in here. Now, the reason I put all my junk in here for now, on this dirty platform in the air, is because even though this house is kind of ugly and it's messed up, it's really terrible. If I go through these chests when I have full inventory, you'll notice that I've done the exact same thing. Or some of these chests I've tried to keep organized and make them look good and easy to access things, know where things are. But if you look at others, these ones are organized. This one here is not perfect. This one here you can tell is very messy, and these ones all down here are perfectly messy. The best example I've got yet. When I ran out of space, I wanted to try and keep some of my areas neat and tidy. So when it came down to this, you know, it's messy. And that's a good looking chest as well. So what I would suggest people do is the gold chests and all the special chests, use them for all your organizing, and use all your yucky looking chests, the ones that are just iron chests, just use them for putting your junk in until you're ready to organize. I mean, I put all my junk in my personal chest technically right now. I'm just going to put all my building equipment in here, and some of my rarer building equipment's in here, as well as this celestial magnet. Whenever you're planning on organizing, the best tip that I've actually had for myself, or for anyone for the matter, is to keep your stuff that you have organized. Now, the ways that I used to do it on worlds that I probably do and don't have, I don't know yet, is I'll show you in a sec. Now, what I want to teach people right now is what I used to do on my other worlds when I did still have them. Now, as you can see, I did start digging up this hole in the ground. I didn't really enjoy doing this. It made the world look a bit ugly in my eyes. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to dig some more of this out because I'm going to change this. I'm actually going to turn this into a storage facility-like area. Now, this is where I'm going to put most of my junk. So what I'm going to show you guys is what I actually used to do on my other worlds. Now, this isn't perfect, but we didn't expect to have any chests either. Well, we were hoping there were. So what I used to do was I used to place markers to say, this is copper, this is platinum. Now what this done for me was, I was able to look at the ore in my inventory and match it up to the ores that are right there. Now I would also go to the chest and rename it. Instead of having it gold chest, I'd call it platinum or gold, because they're basically the exact same variant. Now this is an organization skill that will make it easier to get the things you need, rather than having to go through all that junk. All this stuff here can be now organized into copper platinum chests. Now, to try and reward you, I'll come up with another tip in the next few minutes, I hope. Oh yeah, I just came up with one just now. When you're cleaning up your chests, I tend to keep my inventory more clean than this. I normally only have a weapon on me and something to get around. Like, I have all the tools I need in these bars. Like, basically, there would be next to nothing in here. I'd pull out my piggy, I'd go here, and I'd just click everything away. So this is basically how my inventory would basically look when I'm going to organize myself. Now, when I'm organizing myself, I tend to go through all the chests according to what specifications. Now, I'm going by ores and bars. So, any minerals that are usable in crafting, like gemstones, ores, bars, you name that sort of stuff, you find it, you take it, and you put it with its allocated chests. And this is the easiest way that I know of to keep organized and to actually start cleaning up. Now, as a beginner, you're not going to really have that much ore or anything. I know where you'd stand. You'd stand into one chest. I mean, here's what your chest would look like in a beginner's state. Now, this is another chest. I'm not going to touch this one because I know already that's all environment. Now, I do have a hardy saddle in my potions chest. Now, as you can see, there's lots of potions in here, and then you have to sieve through them to get what you want. Now, this is like this for various reasons. One, I can just go scrolling for which potions I want, knowing which ones they look like. Spankler potion, I want an iron skin potion, there's no swiftness potions in here, and I've got a builder potion right here, greater mana potion, and I think this one here is the magic damage potion. No, it's a random location. No, this one here is. Then here's your recall potion. This video is half an hour long in my eyes. Let's try to get that down to 20 minutes, if possible. Now, I know I was talking for 10 minutes, so 20 minutes with tips that I just did should work, and I hope it does work. I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed my videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. The more people like my content, the more I'll post. If you're interested in any tips, tricks, or anything at all to help you out your game, then you can share these videos around and ask questions about what you can do. And in the meantime, I will be making a video series which is Terraria Let's Play. And these kinds of tips and tricks will be involved with those videos, but also shortcuts into Terraria. So then if you're a new player and you feel like you're taking forever just to achieve a certain goal, or you're trying to get ready for hardcore but you keep failing, the tips and the tricks I provide in those videos should, if you can clearly understand them, help you out in the long run. In the meantime, stay safe, people. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting my channel, and best wishes. I'll see you in another video. Bye!